Hi everyone! Today I'm going to talk about all the forbidden techniques, Kinjutsu, from the Naruto anime. Kinjutsu are techniques that have been banned from being taught or used. Although the hidden villages no longer teach Kinjutsu to their ninja, they have preserved the knowledge of how to perform them. Despite being forbidden, it's unclear what the actual penalties for using Kinjutsu are, if any. It is likely that a person who used such a technique against an enemy rather than an ally or a native village would receive no punishment. A ban can be imposed for any number of reasons, but Kinjutsu can generally be placed in one of the following three categories. Techniques that harm the user themselves. Techniques that violate the laws of nature. For example, summoning, impure world reincarnation, which resurrect the dead through human sacrifice. Some techniques that are known for causing massive collateral damage, such as the total destruction of an entire village, and end in the death of anyone caught in their radius. Thus, the enormous moral implications of their potential lead to it being placed in the category of forbidden techniques. The summoning, impure world reincarnation is a jutsu that binds the soul of a deceased person to a living vessel, restoring them as they were in the last moments of their lives in order to do their summoner's bidding. It was originally created by Tobirama Senju, sometime after which he declared it a Kinjutsu. Orochimaru would discover the technique decades later and improve on its use while his subordinate Kabuto Yakushi nearly perfected it. Before this technique can be performed, the user must first acquire some of the DNA of the person they intend to reincarnate. When first summoned, the body will appear gray and in a state of minor decay, marred by cracks and other imperfections. If the summoner chooses to, they can rejuvenate the reincarnation while planting their control talisman, restoring their complexion, and reducing some of the imperfections. This is merely aesthetic, and the signs of decay do not inhibit their abilities. An unavoidable characteristic of a reincarnated body is the darkened sclerae, with a soul that retains its personality having gray sclerae, and a soul with a suppressed personality having black sclerae. One of the major benefits of the impure world reincarnation is that it grants immortal bodies to those who are reincarnated. Any damage they receive will regenerate in time, and assuming the damage is not too debilitating, they can continue attacking even before their body recovers. A second benefit is the limitless refilling of their diminished chakra reserves that the reincarnated individuals have access to. The reincarnated body can be further enhanced to beyond their prime. There are only 3 guaranteed ways to end the technique. Remove the soul from the reincarnated body, such as with the dead demon consuming seal. Have the summoner end the technique. A less reliable, though equally effective method is to have the reincarnated soul be affected in some emotional way that gives them closure, allowing their soul to break free of the impure world reincarnation's influence. Even if the impure world reincarnation cannot be broken conventionally, reincarnated bodies can still be neutralized. The Outer Path, Samsara of Heavenly Life Technique, is a reincarnation ninjutsu which requires a Rinnegan to use. When this technique is activated, the King of Hell emerges from the ground and releases the souls of the deceased from its mouth. These souls may be recalled from even the crossroad between life and the afterlife, and are then returned to their rejuvenated bodies. While using this technique, the caster is severely weakened. For instance, Nagato's hair turned white as a result of overexerting his power. Ultimately, once the technique is finished, the user invariably dies. The One's Own Life reincarnation is a technique that was developed in Tsunegakure's Puppet Brigade. The user, giving their life force to the target, uses all their chakra as an intermediary. This technique can be used on both the living and dead. Using it on the living can save and restore the target from an otherwise fatal condition, but will leave the user greatly exhausted. When used on the dead, the user will find certain death in exchange for the soul of the deceased. The dead demon consuming seal is a sealing technique developed by the Uzumaki clan to call upon the power of the Shinigami. Its very existence is so secret that even Orochimaru knew nothing about it. After the hand seals are performed, the user's soul is partly separated from their body and suspended behind them. Behind their soul appears the Shinigami, which restrains their soul with its hair. For helping to seal, the demon takes the user's soul by sealing it in his belly. While the Shinigami grabs their soul, the target is immobilized. Any jutsu they may be using are dispelled, and they are prevented from performing additional jutsu. If it is impossible to seal an opponent's soul completely, one can limit oneself to a small portion, as Hiruzen only sealed Orochimaru's hands. This technique also allows you to even seal the Biju, which is what Minato did, splitting Kurama in two. A technique for breaking the seal of the God of Death. Using the Death God mask, the user summons a demon and causes it to repeat all its movements, thereby being able to release the sealed souls. The Creation Rebirth was invented by Tsunade with the resolution to protect the lives of her comrades. By releasing a large amount of chakra at once, the body's cell division is forcibly stimulated. Whenever the body's tissues are damaged or an organ is destroyed, the injury will instantly heal regardless of the severity. Creation Rebirth does not repair the old cells, instead hastening the creation of new ones through division. Because a body's cells can only split a certain number of times, the user shortens their natural lifespan whenever this technique is used. The Earth Grudge Fear is a secret Kinjutsu of Takigakure, which transforms the user's body into something similar to that of a rag doll, held together by hundreds of thick black threads. Kakuzu, who stole the knowledge of this technique before his defection from Takigakure, was able to manipulate black threads for many purposes. He was capable of sewing up any injuries that he or others might suffer, commonly by reattaching body parts. This ability seems to instantly reattach even nerves and muscles, as the patients could instantly move their limbs without any other complex procedures right away. The most significant aspect of these threads is that they granted Kakuzu a form of immortality, although he declined to think of it that way. In addition to sewing up his injuries, he could use the threads to tear into a victim's body, steal their still-functioning organs, and integrate them into his own body, thus extending his life. The extra hearts in Kakuzu's body are normally stored in various animal masks that were sewn onto his back, granting him vast amounts of chakra and numerous elemental affinities. He could detach these masks and have them take on a body of their own, composed entirely of threads. The technique that defeated the owner of the previous Kinjutsu, Rasenshuriken. Unlike the element of wind, Rasengan, an additional shape transformation is applied to the Rasenshuriken, creating 4 large blades that give it a Fūma shuriken-like appearance. To perform the technique, a considerable amount of chakra is required. This also includes all subspecies of jutsu, mini Rasenshuriken, Sage Art, Lava Release, Rasenshuriken, Wind Release, Ultra Big Ball Rasenshuriken, Tailed Beast Ball, Rasenshuriken, 6 Paths, Ultra Big Ball Rasenshuriken, Super Tailed Beast, Big Ball Rasenshuriken, Wind Release, Repeated Rasenshuriken. Jar of Poison Technique. Using his Rinkaichu, Taruni gathers multiple infected corpses and contains them within a barrier where the decaying flesh will release a gas that in time will ignite an explosion and release the venomous insects in a huge swarm that could cover the surrounding landscape. Antlion Ninja Arts, Ephemeral. The user creates 4 firefly-like chakra wings and fires out a powerful energy blast from them. Kagero claims that this technique can be used only once in a lifetime since it consumes so much chakra that the user is left in a near-death state after performing it. During the duration of this technique, the user can also transport themselves instantaneously using a technique that is similar to teleportation. The mutually multiplying explosive tags is a technique which forms part of a fighting style purposely designed for those who have been reincarnated, and employs the use of special explosive tags to create a near-infinite series of explosions, by using their own body as a medium for the paper. Fury is a technique which could create a massive explosion, capable of wiping out an entire village. The 8 gates are 8 specific tenketsu along the chakra pathway system. With training, individuals can learn to remove these limiters, referred to as opening the gates. With each opened gate, individuals are given access to more and more of their body's chakra, thus increasing their physical strength and speed. The Gate of Opening. Opening this gate allows the user to perform the front lotus. The user delivers an upward kick to their opponent, sending them high into the air. The user follows the opponent along their upward trajectory, taking tight hold of them so that they can't move or escape. Once they've reached the peak of the initial kick's arc, the user begins a spinning motion and propels them head first towards the ground, located in the brain's left hemisphere. The Gate of Healing, located in the brain's right hemisphere. This has the added effect of re-energizing the body, enabling it to rapidly recover from exhaustion. The Gate of Life, located on the spinal cord, turns the user's skin red when opened. Opening this gate allows the user to perform the reverse lotus. The user repeats Front Lotus, but at the end begins to deliver a series of strikes. The Gate of Pain. Probably increase the speed. The Gate of Limit is located in the abdomen. Increase strength. The Gate of View. The power that emanates from the user is enough to displace surrounding bodies of water. Opening this gate allows the user to perform the Morning Peacock, wherein the user's punches are so fast that friction with the air produces flames. The Gate of Wonder, located below the stomach, causes the user's body to secrete a blue sweat. The sweat immediately evaporates, creating an aura. Opening this gate allows the user to perform the Daytime Tiger. The user places a palm facing forward in front of their face with one hand and then taps it with his other hand, formed into a fist, which creates a massive amount of air pressure. Next, the user forms a unique hand seal resembling a tiger. The air pressure will condense as it's moving and be focused into a single point. The technique then explodes on command. The Gate of Death is located at the heart. Users open this gate by puncturing their chest with their thumb in order to direct the chakra there. While open, the user's heart pumps at maximum speed, granting them power 100 times greater than they are usually capable of, far beyond that of the 5 cage. A steam of blood is emitted from the user's pores and hair, resembling a flaming red aura. Opening this gate allows the user to perform the Evening Elephant. This technique is a continuous assault of 5 punches, with each foot, as they are referred to, being performed faster than the one before. It creates a cannon of pressurized air which bears the appearance of an elephant's leg, causing devastating damage to the opponent. And Night Guy. When Guy initiates the technique, he emits an enormous amount of red steam, and his chakra manifests into a red burning dragon around his body. He then dashes forward at such an extreme speed that the space ahead of the user is distorted, making it impossible for the target to defend against it. The 8th gate causes the body to continually heat up until it's been cooked from the inside out, reducing the user to ash. Violent. Leaf Adamantine-Strength Whirlwind. Guy deals a severe roundhouse kick to his opponent after entering his 8-gate state. Little Toe Attack. Guy used this attack against the demonic statue of the Outer Path to literally attack its little toe, the force of which helped topple the statue over. The Sealing Technique. Phantom Dragons. 9. Consuming seals is a technique that was used by Pain and the other members of Akatsuki to forcibly seal a tailed beast, or to extract a still-living Jinchuriki's tailed beast chakra into the demonic statue of the Outer Path. Chakra Threads. Fūma. This is a murder-suicide technique. The user creates threads of chakra that are used to connect the user's heart to another person's. As long as the two are connected, any internal damage done to one will also be done to the other. This ultimately means that if one person dies, so will the other. Only a kunai wrapped in a special Fūma clan tag can safely cut the threads and separate the two. Curse Mandala. The technique traps the victim in a pyramid-like chakra cage which will slowly constrict as the user moves his hands closer together. Anyone caught in the mandala as it constricts will be crushed. Should the user's will falter, or the entrapped opponent happen to be strong enough, the cage can be broken. The Cursed Seal of Heaven is one of the strongest of Orochimaru's cursed seals. The seal consists of 3 tomo, similar to the Sharingan, which when activated, the seal turns orange-red and spreads flame-like markings across bodies. Like all cursed seals, the user receives increased chakra levels and physical capabilities when the seal is active, to the point where with the 2nd level, Sasuke was equal in power to Naruto's one-tailed form when he first used it. According to Kabuto, the seal itself contains Orochimaru's chakra, which Kabuto used in order to improve the binding power of summoning Impure World Reincarnation. Cursed Seal of Earth. It consists of 3 slightly curved lines which spread in a rip-like pattern. This cursed seal is particularly strong even amongst the other already powerful cursed seals. Like all cursed seals, Gibbs receives increased chakra levels, physical capabilities and ninjutsu skills become more effective when the seal is active. Sound 4's Cursed Seals. Each member of the Sound 4 uses a cursed seal. Their seals, however, are not as powerful as the Heaven and Earth seals, although they have similar end results. Tayuya's cursed seal consists of 3 hooks, similar to a triskelion on the back of her neck. When the 2nd level of her seal is active, her hair grows longer. She grows 5 oddly placed horns on her head, slightly resembling a crown, and her skin turns dark brown. Jirobo's cursed seal is the only one not seen before it is activated. However, the pattern that spreads during its first state are like chains of triangular arrows. When the second level of his seal is active, his skin turns maroon, his hair grows longer, and he also grows warts on his forehead and shoulders. Kidomaru's cursed seal, seen only in the anime, is formed like a hook. When the second level of his seal is active, his skin turns deep red, his hair grows longer and turns a light grayish color, and he grows horns on his forehead and his elbows. He becomes more spider-like, almost Oni-like in appearance in this form. By opening the third eye on his forehead, his accuracy increases to the point. Sakon and Ukon both have the same type of cursed seal, which consists of 3 circular dots placed like a triangular shape on their foreheads. When the second level of their seals are active, they resemble goblins with red skin, longer hair, a single horn, and can grow black armor from their bodies when they separated. The space-time technique formula. Underworld turnover. The seal activates around the user, trapping anyone within its range. The souls of both targets and users are separated from their bodies and confined to a special barrier. Any one ninja will can locate the barrier and break it, freeing the souls trapped within while the user's disappears. Casualty Puppet. Developed by Orochimaru, this technique allows the user to partially absorb a freshly killed corpse, transforming it into an extension of the user's body. Though absorbing allows one to gain access to the target's techniques, the use of Casualty Puppet can warp the user's mind and body, making the user highly unstable with only a great shock snapping them back to their senses. The Chimera Technique is a Kinjutsu that was developed by Hiruko, a missing nin of Konohagakure, in order to compensate for his lack of natural special abilities. It was originally meant to combine separate living bodies of organisms into one combined organism bearing the original characteristics of the organisms, and therefore create a synthetic body. Hiruko uses the technique to integrate the bodies of others with his own, allowing him to obtain any Kekkei Genkai they possess, as well as other special physical traits and absorb their chakra. Living Corpse Reincarnation. The living corpse reincarnation immortalizes one's mind, transferring it to a stronger body before the current host rots. To perform this technique, Orochimaru reveals his true form, a gigantic white snake composed of smaller white snakes, by abandoning his current host's body. Orochimaru then swallows the new host and takes him or her to a separate mental plane where he envelops the mind of his victim. After taking over another body, Orochimaru modifies it to suit his theme of snakes in order to increase his survival capabilities, such as stretching and bending his body, reconnecting any severed parts, and shedding his skin to heal injuries. White Snake. Orochimaru leaves his body in the white snake form, launching at the opponent, damaging them and entering the ground, and then attacks the opponent from behind again before entering his body again. Twin Snake's Mutual Death Technique. The user grabs one of their intended victim's hands and forces it to assist in performing the necessary hand seals. Once this is done, the user and the victim die. The mysterious Peacock method is a trademark technique of Hoshigakure, and utilizes chakra-enhancing radiation produced by a meteorite that fell 200 years prior to the start of the series. The technique itself manifests in the form of a feather-shaped array behind the Hoshigakure ninja, and spreading out from behind them like a peacock's tail feathers. This chakra is easily manipulated into various shapes to create techniques, making it one of the most versatile jutsu around. These techniques are honed through star training, which requires the ninja to spend large amounts of time focusing on their chakra and meditating in the presence of the meteorite. Several other techniques come from here. Wings. The chakra feathers form wings. Revelation. Allows you to be resurrected as a ghost for a short period of time. Beast. The chakra feathers change to the form of an animal, such as a dog. Destroy. The chakra feathers are used to attack. Join. Combines 2 chakra beasts into one larger beast. Dragon. After implanting the star into himself, Akahoshi formed a dragon that could shoot blasts of star chakra at the opponent, and can also grow wings to increase its power. Chakra rope. The user extends their chakra into a binding rope that cannot be cut. Strangulation. The chakra feathers turn into ropes to ensnare and strangle a target. Predation. The user steals star chakra from another comrade and devours it, making their own stronger. Izanagi. With Izanagi, the user applies an illusion to reality itself, giving the user control over what is and is not real for as long as Izanagi is active. Users typically do this in order to protect themselves, negating any injuries they receive or even their deaths. Members of the Uchiha clan, as descendants of the sage, perform Izanagi with their Sharingan. In exchange for the brief control over reality that Izanagi grants them, the Sharingan that they perform it with becomes blind. Only awakening the Rinnegan restores the eye's vision. Because the Uchiha prized their Sharingan, to lose it in this way prompted them to label it Kinjutsu. Izanami. It is a genjutsu which affects the target through physical sensations shared between them and the user to perform the illusion. Like its counterpart, in exchange for the temporary ability that it grants the user, the Sharingan with which Izanami is cast is rendered blind and loses its light forever. According to Itachi, this technique and Izanagi form a pair, but unlike the latter, which is a technique capable of altering destiny, Izanami is instead one that decides it. Whilst under the effects of the technique, the target stands motionlessly as the loop of events continually replays inside their mind. Each time a loop is repeated, any physical damage incurred is reset as it were before the start of the loop. Because this technique was created to reprimand and save the users of Izanagi, the victim is able to escape the infinite loop if they can acknowledge the real results of their actions, and in doing so, accept their fate. According to Itachi, there was a point in time where members of the clan abused the abilities granted by Izanagi, instead simply casting the technique as a means of escaping the undesirable results of their actions. As such, Izanami is ironically not a genjutsu to be used on an enemy, but on a friend who has lost their way as a means of helping them find themselves again. At this point, the techniques come to an end, as does this video. Thanks for watching, and if you like the video, please like it and subscribe to the channel.